So we are now in the last topic or last module of bridging SRWE course. So this module is entitled WLAN configuration. So the objective of this module is to implement a WLAN using a wireless router and WLC, so the wireless LAN controller. So these are the topics to be discussed in this module. So the remote site WLAN configuration, configure a basic WLAN on the WLC, configure a WPA2 enterprise WLAN on the WLC, and troubleshoot WLAN issues. So this is also the same, but we have the topic objective. So for this topic, you need to configure a WLAN to support a remote site. For this topic, is to configure a WLC WLAN to use the management interface and WPA2 PSK authentication. And also on this topic, configure a WPA2 enterprise WLAN on the WLC. So we need to configure this WLC WLAN to use a VLAN interface, a DHCP server, and WPA2 enterprise authentication. And then for the last topic, to troubleshoot WLAN issues. So we need to troubleshoot common wireless configuration issues. So for the first topic in the WLAN configuration is the remote site WLAN configuration. So we will be discussing this some points. The wireless router. So log into the wireless router, basic network setup, and basic wireless setup. So the wireless router, so we have here the example here. So typically most of us have this kind of router in our home. So this router is used for accessing the internet, so we are connecting to the internet. So we used this to connect to internet wirelessly using our phones or laptops, except for our desktop that we use LAN cables. So the next example here is the topology. We have here the client and then the wireless router. So as you can see, the client here is physically connected to the wireless router, which then connected to the broadband modem to access internet. So the next is log into the wireless router. So we need to log into the wireless router for some configuration, because when we buy the wireless router, it is pre-configured. So we need to adjust or tweak some settings, configure some settings into the wireless router. So the first thing we do is go to the web browser and type in the IP address of the router. Then after that, you will be prompted by authorization. So the most common username and password is admin. So next is the basic network setup. So the basic network setup includes the following steps. So the first one is log into the router from a web browser. So in this example here, we go to the web browser and type in the IP address of the router. Then some authentication. So we need to type in the username, password. So it is commonly used the admin for username and password. Next is change the default administrative password. So next, so after authentication, this go with this place. So we need to find the administrator here, administration. So here we can set up the password here. As you can see, we have the password section here, router password, re-enter to confirm. Next is log in with the new administrative password. So after you save it, so this authorization will pop up. So you need to enter the new password that you configured. So next is change the default DHCP IPv4 addresses. So the next is, I think you need to go to this setup and then type in the IP address. So it is the best practice to use private networks. Next is renew the IP address. So after clicking the save, so you will temporarily lose the access on the router. So you need to go to the CMD and renew the IP address. So type in the IP config, renew. Next is log in. So the last step is log into the router with a new IP address. So log in with the new IP address. So the last topic for the remote site WLAN configuration is the basic wireless setup. So basic wireless setup includes the following steps. So the first one is view the WLAN defaults. So as you can see here, for the wireless tab, we have the default settings. So for example, we have the network name or the SSID. So it's set to default. The standard channel is 1. So it's equals to 2.41 gigahertz. Next one is change the network mode. So as you can see here, the network mode, it is the legacy is selected. So meaning all the wireless devices connected to this wireless router can have different wireless NICs. Next is configure the SSID. So SSID simply means the network name. So we configure the name, the default name before, and change that to OfficeNet. Next is configure the channel. So for the standard channel, we chose the channel 6. So specifically 1, 6, and 11 are non-overlapping channels. So overlapping channels may cause slowing down of network performance. Next is configure the security mode. Here, so in these examples, WPA personnel are selected for security mode. We can also change the encryption, so AES and TKIP. So for the last step is to configure the passphrase. So passphrase is used to authenticate the wireless devices connected. So the second topic in the WLAN configuration is the configure a basic WLAN on the WLC. So we need to discuss this, log into the WLC, view AP information, advanced settings, and configure a WLAN. So log into the WLC, you have here, so we need to enter our credentials. So in accessing the WLC, you need to go to the web browser and type in the IP address of the wireless LAN controller. So the next is view AP information. So after you log in the WLC, you will see the network summary. So you will see the configure wireless networks, the associated access points, and the active clients. So you can view the information of access points by clicking here on the left side, the access points. So you can see the system information of access point. So you can see we have the IP address of AP of 192.168.200.3. We can also go to advanced settings by clicking on this button. So from here you can access all the features of the WLC. So for the last part of configure a basic wireless LAN on the WLC is to configure a WLAN. So basic WLAN configuration on the WLC includes the following steps. So the first one is create a WLAN. So as you can see here in the sample picture, we have set the wireless _ LAN as the profile name and SSID for our newly created WLAN. So next is apply enable the WLAN. So we just need to click this checkbox. So clicking this checkbox allows the administrator to configure a bunch of settings. So for right now, the administrator can configure variety of settings like security, quality of service, policy mapping, and advanced settings. So next is select the interface. So as you can see here, we have choose the users underscore WLAN as the interface. So the interface, so we need an interface to carry on the traffics. Next is secure the WLAN. So in this sample picture, PSK was selected, and we need to enter the PSK, the key for PSK, and then click apply. Next is verify the WLAN is operational. So we need to click this WLAN, and as you can see, we now have the newly created WLAN with the profile name of wireless underscore LAN. We have also the WLAN ID of 1, and then the security policies, we have the PSK. Next is monitor the WLAN. So in the advanced settings again, so we can see the summary. So as you can see on this sample picture, we have now the client. So properly have now one client. Next is the last is the view wireless client information. So we just need to click the clients here, and we can see the client information. So it is connected through this wireless LAN on this access point. So it also configures the IPv4 address of 192.168.5. So now we're in the last topic of the WLAN configuration, which is to configure a WPA2 enterprise WLAN on the wireless LAN controller. So we need to configure SMP server information, radio server information, new interface, DHCP scope, and WPA2 enterprise WLAN. So first we need to configure SNMP server information. So in the WLC, you need to click the management tab here to access various management features. And then on the left side, we need to click this SNP and then the trap receivers. So after that, after clicking this, click new to configure the SNMP trap receivers. Next thing will pop up is this. So enter the community name and IP address for SMP server, and then click apply. So after clicking apply, the WLC will now forward SNMP log messages to SNMP server. Next is configure radio server information on the wireless LAN controller. So the first thing we do is click the security tab, and then on the left side click radios and then authentication. So as you can see, there are no radio server currently configured. Now click new. So after clicking the new, we need to enter the server IP address and then the shared secret. So this serves as a password for wireless LAN controller and the radio server. And then click apply. And the last, our configure radio server is now on the list. So next is configuring a new interface. So VLAN interface configuration on the WLC includes the following steps. So the first one is create a new interface. So we need to click the controller. Then second one is on the left, the interfaces, and click new. So the next one is configure the VLAN name and ID. So in this example, we use the VLAN 5 as an interface name and 5 for VLAN ID, and just click apply. Next is configure the port and interface address. So here in this example, so we identify the physical port here. So in this example, we use the port 1, and the interface ID address. So we have the VLAN ID of 5, and then its IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway, the router. Next is configure the DHCP server address. So we just enter the gateway, the default gateway. So it is the primary DHCP server. So next is just apply and confirm. Just need to click this apply and then click OK. And verify interfaces. So as you can see, our new interface is now in the list together with its IP address. Next is to configure the DHCP scope. So this DHCP scope configuration includes the following steps. So first is create a new DHCP scope. So this DHCP scope is very similar to a DHCP pool on a router. So it can include a variety of information, including a pool of addresses to assign to DHCP clients, then a server information, list times, and more. So in this example, we need to click controller here, and then on the left side, internal DHCP server, and then click DHCP scope, and then click new. Next is name DHCP scope. So after clicking new, so it will be DHCP scope will be displayed, and then on this example, wireless management is set as the scope name. Next is verify the new DHCP scope. So after clicking apply, it will be returned to the DHCP scope. So you just need to verify it. So click this, then configure and enable the DHCP scope. Next is we need to configure this, the pool start address, pool end address, the network and net mask, the default router, and we need to enable the status. Next is verify the enable DHCP scope. So now our scope, the wireless management, now on the list, and now we can allocate this to WLAN. So the last is the configure WPA2 enterprise WLAN. So configuring a new WLAN on the WLC includes the following steps. So the first one is create a new WLAN. So first we need to click this WLANs and then click go. Next step is configure the WLAN and the SSID. So in this example, the company name is used for the profile name and the SSID. Next is enable the WLAN for VLAN 5. So as you can see, we check this enabled. Next is we need to verify that this is the interface, the VLAN 5. Then click apply and then click OK for the pop-up message. Next is verify the AES and the 802.1x defaults. So we just need to verify it. So in the security tab, we need to verify that the encryption is the AES, and then the authentication key management is the 802.1x. Next is configure the WLAN security to use the radio server. Configure in the AAA server, you need to select this radio server with this IP address beside the server one. Okay. And then hit apply. So the last one is verify the new WLAN is available. So as you can see here in the WLANs, both wireless LAN and company name is now on the WLAN, so it is enabled. So now we're on the last topic of WLAN configuration, which is to troubleshoot WLAN issues. So I think I said that the previous topic is the last, but anyways, we will be discussing the troubleshooting approaches, wireless client not connecting, troubleshoot when the network is low. So network problems can be simple or complex and can result from a combination of hardware, software, and connectivity issues. So the technician must be able to analyze the problem and determine the cause of the error before they can resolve the network issue. So this process is called troubleshooting. So simply the troubleshooting means solving the problem. Troubleshooting any sort of network problem should follow a systematic approach. So a common and efficient troubleshooting methodology is based on the scientific method and can be broken into the 6 main steps shown in the table. So we have here the table. So these are the steps for troubleshooting. So we have the step 1, identify the problem. Step 2, so we need to establish a theory of probable causes. So probable causes of the problem. And the step number 3 is to test the theory to determine the cause. So we're testing to prove the cause and then establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. So we're now solving the problem. Number 5 is verify full system functionality and implement preventive measures. So the description for this is if you have corrected the problem, verify full functionality, and if applicable, implement preventive measures. So they're implementing preventive measures. And then for the last step is document findings, actions, and outcomes. So you need to document your findings, actions, and outcomes. So this is very important for future reference. So now for the wireless client not connecting. As you can see here in the sample picture, the wireless client is not connected to the access point or the wireless network. So if there is no connectivity, check the following. So we need to confirm the network configuration on the PC using the ipconfig command. So we need to verify that the PC has received an IP address via DHCP or is configured with the static address. So we also need to confirm that the device can connect to the wired network. Okay. If necessary, load drivers as appropriate for the client. So it may be necessary to try a different wireless NIC. So if the wireless NIC of the client is working, check the security mode and encryption settings on the client. So if the security is setting to the patch, the client cannot gain access to the wireless local area network. So it is also another problem. If the PC is operational but the wireless connection is performing poorly, so check the following. So how far is the PC from the access point? Is the PC out of the planned coverage area? So distance is involved here. So we can also check the channel settings on the wireless client. So the client software should detect the appropriate channel as long as the SSID is correct. So check for the presence of other devices in the area that may be interfering with the 2.4 GHz band. So it's likely overlapping here. So for the troubleshooting when the network is slow. So to optimize and increase the bandwidth of 802.11 dual band routers and APs, so either upgrade your wireless clients or split the traffic. So for the upgrade your wireless clients, older 802.11b, 11g, and even 11n devices can slow the entire wireless LAN. So split the traffic. So the easiest way to improve wireless performance is to split the wireless traffic between the 802.11n 2.4 GHz band and the 5 GHz band. So there are several reasons for using the split the traffic approach. So the 2.4 GHz band may be suitable for basic internet traffic that is not time sensitive. So the bandwidth may still be shared with other nearby wireless LANs. The 5 GHz band is much less crowded than the 2.4 GHz band, so it is ideal for streaming multimedia. So the 5 GHz band has more channels, therefore the channel chosen is likely interference free.